So what's interesting is when he was genetically engineering human beings, the way he did it, and this is why I put humans in quotes, is he took the humanoids that were on this planet, I guess you could call them hominids maybe, or apes, and he crossed them with the genetics of various reptilian species. So now, when he hybridized these human beings, he didn't use the genetic information from living reptilian beings. He took it from dead ones. So he created a kind of creature that's sort of undead. Now, why do you think shows like The Walking Dead are so popular? Why is it that in the last 20 years there must have been 1 billion zombie films made and zombie TV shows? Where is this coming from? Again, we go back to genetic memory. It's because all of us are really kind of zombies in the literal sense. This is why he did it. The problem is that the extraterrestrials who control this planet, they're not out in space anymore. They're inside the Earth because the Earth is hollow. All planets are hollow on the inside. Some people say, what? Okay, listen. Why do you think in recent years there's been this giant resurgence of the flat Earth movement? Everyone's always talking about how the planet is flat, almost maniacal about it. Where would that come from? Well, the reason is those who run the show here don't want you to know the reality. So there's a reason why all the countries on this planet signed the Antarctic Treaty to agree to never go to Antarctica, and they all respect that treaty. Okay, when in history has there ever been a situation where every country on the planet is respecting some treaty? Especially when it's like, oh, don't go explore this place that could have all these valuable resources. No way. There's a reason why no one goes down there anymore. And it's because the beings who live inside the hollow Earth will kill you. So it's that simple. They say, you're not coming down here? You ain't going down there. No, 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 no. So another thing we need to think about here is that life exists on all planets, not only on the surface or inside of it or even between the surface and the hollow Earth, because we have all these underground cities and deep underground military bases and maglev trains crisscrossing under the planet, which a lot of people know about. But we also have life on different dimensions on the same planet. So right now we're sitting here in this room and there's maybe 50 different radio stations going by here, but we don't hear them. If we have a radio, we tune it, we can hear them. Well, guess what? Creation's like that too. So if you switch frequencies a bit, you could be in the same space in a different realm. That's how you can have spirits and entities and et cetera, because they could be in the room with you. You can't see them or touch them, but they can see you and touch you. So a lot of activity is occurring inside the planet as well as on the surface on different levels. So as it turns out, the Nebu Gray Empire that is in control on this inside of the planet, they're in a bit of a different dimension. But the dimension that they're in is very close to the dimension of the dead. So I don't want to get too deep into these topics, but for example, when people say, well, does hell exist? Yes, it does. There are many types of hell. When we talk about the idea of hell, a human being can be, or any sort of being, regardless of what they are, can be reincarnated, for example, onto a planet where life is very miserable. I'm sure you could say that would be a type of hell. Same way you could be reincarnated onto a planet where life's pretty good. That would be kind of like a type of heaven. That doesn't mean there aren't actual hells, actual dimensions where beings are placed and they suffer, where dark beings live. And there are many different hells because you can't send every type of creation into the same hell. Some creatures would be like, I like this human hell. It doesn't bother me at all. So you have to send them somewhere else, yeah? But human beings, they get to send to their hell. So all this is important. Why am I saying this? Because in order for humans to be controlled very easily, you would have to create a link between us up here on the surface and the inner Earth in a different dimension where your controllers live. The best way to do that is through the realm of the dead. You anchor the human beings into the realm of the dead. And you do that by genetically hybridizing them with the genetic material of dead reptilians. This is where the unconscious mind comes from. So when you hear about Freud and all the psychiatric community always talking about the unconscious mind and all that, and oh, I don't know, when I was a child, I wasn't loved enough, and now as a result, I'm always seeking out relationships where I'm also not loved. We all acknowledge this is a real problem. I mean, how many books are in the self-help section trying to figure out what to do about the fact that you don't have control over your conscious mind? I mean, this is a huge issue. So the natural question that comes out was, well, do other extraterrestrial species have an unconscious mind? No, only you do. So what Lucifer did when he was genetically re-engineering people was very clever, but also very nasty. Because now you have a huge part of your consciousness that you don't have access to. But guess who has access to it? Those who control you. And this is why human beings are so easy to influence. They're always going to war. They never learn. How many humans have a very high IQ and are emotionally retarded and continuously do things that are not in their best interest? Clearly your free will has been somewhat compromised. And this is the guy who did it, because that's what he did. He gave you an unconscious mind. And that's one of the reasons that humans are so easily manipulated. This is why I put human beings in quotes, because you're all hybridized to some degree or another, regardless of whether you have Rh negative blood or not. And this is what makes humans on Earth very different from the humans found in the Galactic Federation. It's also one of the reasons why all those extraterrestrial civilizations, they don't like you. They want nothing to do with you. Because from their point of view, you're irredeemable. There's nothing that can be done with you. You're genetically a mistake. And I know that sounds very harsh, but it is what it is.